So we are now going to move on to courses. So you see everything is self-contained in this little ecosystem. We'll just click on this link for the Trident Water Treatment Defense Phase 1. This is the first course. It says there's 22 enrolled, 16 lessons, 13 topics, and 67 quizzes. Guys, these are, in order to graduate from this and actually get a certificate saying that you completed Phase 1, you need to have at least a passing grade of 80% success rate in your quizzes. So remember, the quizzes aren't to hassle you. The quizzes are to remind you that, okay, I get this, I understand this. And if you don't, then you probably were skimming or something broke your concentration where you started the course and then you came back to it a day or two later. You just need to start that particular lesson over, review it, and read it. Remember, these courses are in order. There's a sequence. This particular course, Phase 1, follows the sequence of the written book. Remember the one with 177 chapters? This is that lesson plan. And we actually expand on it through the course, and we still use the written material to get through it as well. But I'm going to bring in my thoughts in the form of video. As members and students, you will also be available to twice a month live coaching webinars by me. And I may end up speaking on one of these lessons in that, so you can expect some training besides other updates and announcements, and still have a section for the lightning round where you can ask me any questions you want within that given hour, hour and a half, depending on what we're doing that day and what the demands are like. But I don't think I want to go past an hour and a half. That's asking a lot for people's attention spans these days. So if we don't answer the question that week, hang on to it and we will get to it the following. So you would just send it by email or whatever, and we'd put you at the beginning of the questions for the following 2 weeks later. All right, excellent. So let me just kind of show you what you would do is you would click Start Course. There, it's currently an open registration. We have a light mode and a dark mode. I don't know if I mentioned that to you before, but I wanted you to know. So if it's a little easier on your eyes, so be it. Okay, but I'm in dark mode. So you'll see here we have, usually you'll have all of these things that are called carrots. You can drop them down and you'll see that part 1 is establishing a theoretical foundation. And we start with Water 101 fundamentals, and there's 6 topics: chemistry, pH, voltage, microbiological, radioactive, and temperature. And then we will have what's called a checkpoint. When you hover over it, it's blue. That's just the way that works. If you don't like it, if it's hard to read, go back to light mode, and now you can hover over checkpoint. And what that would do is bring up the quiz, right? And it's the first of 67 quizzes. And I will build those quizzes around each one of these pieces of the lesson plan, right? You know how that works. And then when you pass it, yay, you get to go on to the next piece. So this was part A, and then part B is the hidden dangers of water. And if you picked up that book, well, it comes with your student membership for those that upgrade at no additional cost. But for many of you, you will have purchased that and got a very exceptional deal on the pricing and value versus what we charge regularly by the day if somebody just wants a book by itself. But you will see that we cover these sections and we really drive home those talking points that were authored by myself. Then there will be a quiz on that section. And so that just kind of gives you the ideas of what's going on. And then there'll be other quizzes about microbiological, chemical, elemental, radiological, all of these things. And then we'll go into another section called water source types and well water. We'll talk about cisterns and how people use cisterns. And then there will be a short quiz on what we covered in these 2 lesson plans, right? So 2 topics, 1 lesson plan, 1 quiz. And they're all here have fun. You can see it's all been plotted out. All I have to do is put together the short video talking about it and then give you your assignment for that lesson where you're able to read up on it in certain publications that I've written and then put it into action through taking the quiz and passing the quiz so that you can move on to the next section. So you're going to build up, it's kind of like Top Gun. Before you can get in the cockpit of an F-15 back in the mid-'80s and in the Cold War era, you sat your butt and parked it right there in a classroom. Lots of fun. So this is where you start too. If you're going to be able to pilot your own jet, you got to know the fundamentals, okay? Because I take to heart that the majority of you not only want water that's just going to make life easier, but for health concerns. And so even though you're not becoming a doctor or an infection control officer or a microbiological or chemical engineer, all of those are separate specialties and skill sets. But you are going to have a very good grip on what your water's about and how to identify, how to develop a plan of attack through a treatment plan, and how to implement that action. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. All right. So I think I'm going to wrap up this section here to let you guys know exactly what to expect